The information in this video is provided for informational and educational purposes only.
Welcome to Dose of DN, where you'll get a little shot of what my life is like living with SMA. First, I gotta get this all out of the way because it's driving me nuts. Do you see that mosquito bite on my arm? Oh, it's itchy and driving me nuts. Kind of like this t-shirt that's all twisty and riding up in the armpits, but really there's not much I can do about it, so I'm just gonna keep on going on. So anyway, if I look uncomfortable, I probably am. Today I wanted to talk about the changing landscape of the service dog industry. I've had a service dog in my life since 2004. That means almost 20 years that I've had a service dog. Over those years, I've seen a drastic change in the way service dogs are perceived and how many that you see out in public. It used to be that service dogs helped people in wheelchairs pick up stuff, right? That's kind of what you thought of when you saw a service dog. Well, there's so much more than that. They can mitigate all types of disabilities, not just visible ones. And so when you're out in public and see someone walking around with a service dog, that doesn't necessarily mean they don't have a disability and that's not a real service dog. Unfortunately, though, as service dogs have increased in popularity, so has the fake service dog industry. People see dogs out in public and dogs with people who are just walking around and think, well, if they can bring their dog in public, why can't I? Well, that's not the best idea, especially if they're not well behaved and well mannered. And you might think they are, but there is a standard that should be upheld. And there are rules. I'm not going to get into all of them with the ADA and what people can ask and can't ask. But pretty much, you're not allowed to ask, what's your disability? That's just not something that can be done. You can ask if your dog's a service dog, and if they say yes, you can ask what tasks do they do. And someone can tell you what those would be. But other than that, unless they're causing a disturbance or being unruly, just leave it alone, right? That's what I do. But today I also wanted to talk about the rebranding of the organization that I went through. It was formerly known as Canine Companions for Independence and is now just known as Canine Companions. Why did they shorten their name? Partly because the name was so long that people shortened it to CCI, and then they didn't know, what CCI stand for. So they just shortened it to Canine Companions so it would be easier recognized. They also changed their logo. They changed it from this to this. I personally really liked the original logo. It's not very often that you see someone in a wheelchair represented. And so when I saw that, I had a connection to it. It's like, yes, finally, someone's recognizing wheelchairs. Well, I can see how it can be limiting, and that's why they changed their logo. Because service dogs no longer are just for someone in a wheelchair. There are so many disabilities that are not visible, and service dogs can help mitigate those disabilities as well. And they didn't want to be limited with people thinking that their dogs were only meant for people in wheelchairs. And although I do get that, it does hurt my heart a little bit that taking out a wheelchair makes something more inclusive, that's not something that I would think of right offhand. But I can see where that's the case, so again, I just go with it, kind of like the mosquito bite in the t-shirt. So, but that's a little bit of the reasoning behind the change. So if you see a different vest on dogs that you're more familiar with the other logo, it is still Canine Companions. And they're not the only way to get a service dog. There are other organizations out there. You can self-train your service dog, but just be aware that you might see more service dogs out in public, and hopefully they're well behaved and well mannered and pass certification too. But since they took the wheelchair logo out of that, I wanted to show you my logo. I'm going to try and turn around and hopefully you can see it. Even though there's not a wheelchair on the vest of my service dog, there's a wheelchair on my logo, but my family portrait behind me. So I'm not missing the wheelchair too terribly much. I do hope there is more representation in the future of wheelchair users, but how that is, I'm not quite sure. But now I gotta go find my itch balm because this bite is driving me insane. I hope you all have a good day, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.